You are tuned into the hippest radio station in the Tri-City area, WAWL 103.5. This is Walk the Beat radio program dedicated to bringing you the latest in musical talent from our very own West Michigan area. I'd like to start off by thanking City Farmer for underwriting our program. They are located right next to us at 1437 Washington Avenue. And I am Dave Palmer, your host of Walk the Beat. We are at the Third Coast Recording Company with Jack Clark and Marianne Fisher representing, you guys are the producers of the Red House Concert Series. How's it going?
We are doing well. Thanks for having us.
Good morning, Dave.
You know, we've really become good friends, which I love, and because we've become good friends through music.
Yes.
And it's just absolutely wonderful. Both of you have such a passion for it that it's so nice to be able to find other people that have the passion that we have.
Absolutely.
And when you gets together, it's nothing but a fire burning.
It is a hurricane of music, that's for sure.
Thanks to you guys who have been supporting music around here forever, and probably longer than I have, or at least as long as I have, because I know that your love for it has gotten you into this situation where you have met a lot of absolutely wonderful musicians.
Yeah, it's been amazing. We started in 2007, so is that pre your time with us?
About 4 years after I started.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
to
right.
really dedicate myself to some of this stuff.
So this started as house concerts at our home. So my husband Jim and I started doing music at our house in 2007, which we thought was a once in a lifetime deal.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know that house concerts were a thing
Yeah,
and that people did them. So we were like, here's this opportunity. We have to grasp this. And I had to do a hard sell on it because my husband didn't think we'd be able to get enough people to pay for the music.
Yeah,
and
right.
We didn't. But it was awesome. Our first show was with Brian Van Der Ark, and he had just blasted out on his newsletter, you know, that he was going to produce his next album with shows for fans, which I was like, wow, that's amazing. I never heard of anything like that. So we did that first show, and we were like, if he does this next year, we have to do it again. And he's done it every year since then. And we posted him basically every year after that.
Right.
But it kind of just grew from there. Other musicians started contacting us about doing these. We did some in our living room, which my husband also didn't think was going to happen.
Good idea.
We got 20 people in there, which he didn't think was possible. We live in a little red house.
Little red house.
Yeah, so it's kind of just expanded, and it's been absolutely wonderful for us.
That is a fantastic story.
Well, thank you.
You know, and it's true. These people need a place to perform. They are looking anywhere, and they actually don't need a place to perform for $50. They need a place to perform where you can actually pay for the gas, pay for a hotel room. They don't ask for much more than that.
Right.
It'd be nice to send a couple of bucks home now and then. It's a very tough life.
Yep.
But you guys have gone out of your way to make it easier for them. And what we're talking about today isn't so much any particular spot, but we want to let the public know, what does it take to put this together? What are the pitfalls? What are you doing to try to avoid those pitfalls? And the pitfalls is actually not having enough funding, correct?
Well, yeah, every single show we lost money doing it, and we weren't doing that, and actually couldn't legally be doing that for money because we weren't a venue.
Sure.
All the money we brought in, we gave to the musicians, whatever it was. So
beautiful.
We know what it's like for people that are trying to make their living with this. We always gave them a guarantee and said, we'll give you at least this much, and we did that regardless of how many people came and how much money came in. And if it was more than what we said, they got more than what we said. So, it took a number of years for us to get to a point where people just knew that if we were bringing them to our house, that they wanted to be there, you know, and then it was, to the point where we had way more people wanting to come than we could accommodate. So we had to, get creative with how people, how we were going to have people give donations and save their spots and all that kind of stuff. So it was something that we built on for a number of years. And then we've been talking about trying to do this in a bigger manner for a while. And I approached Jack last year with that idea because he's a promoter too, and he's very passionate about music, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
So we're at the same level with that. And it really just flowed very easily for us. I mean, we started talking about it. We made those connections with Tri-Cities Historical Museum, and it just kind of all fell into place.
Let's back up a little bit. How did you meet our good friend Jack Clark?
He came to my house for a house concert.
July 21st, 2013, I think it was.
Wow, he remembers the date.
So
You're that memorable. So Jack, how did you respond? Did you approach Marianne?
Well, when I went to their Red House show, this was in the summertime, I was in their back.
Who hooked you up?
Who hooked me up? Who got me in the club, if you will?
Who got you in the club? Because I can't get in.
Your sister-in-law.
My sister-in-law went to a Red House show the previous winter.
What's her name?
Kathy Burris.
Okay.
And brought my wife, Colleen, to the show.
Colleen was at the Red House first. So
yes,
everybody should know that.
She's a silent partner.
Which was July 12th, 1986.
No, that was actually the winter before. They had Carissa Wilson at the winter show
singer.
in their, absolutely, in their living room. And Colleen comes home and says, you might be interested in this. Because at that time, I've heard about house shows. I knew what they were about paying musicians to play these small shows in between their other bigger shows as they're traveling through towns. They want to pick up, like we said, a few $100s to pay for lodging or gas or what have you. So I'm like, well, how do I get in on this? You know? So I ended up, liking the page on Facebook, checking out what they were doing, and ended up going to that show.
Great.
In July of 2013, met Jim and Marianne, and she had a passion for music. He had a passion for beer, and I was like, adopt me, Can I be your child?
My husband homebrews, so he makes fantastic beer.
Yeah. We're hoping he has actually made beer for Walk the Beat.
Yes, he did.
And he's going to be making more beer for Walk the Beat.
Thank you, Jim. So with that, let's take a break here and let's get one of these songs on from just somebody that you have brought us 3 songs from 3 different artists that have played at your at the events. Yep. So who's this first guy?
This first one is Chris Bathgate. He's a terrific singer-songwriter, originally out of Iowa, through Ann Arbor at the University of Michigan where he studied music, and now makes his home in Grand Rapids. So he's a local guy, and he plays with this full band, 6-piece band called the Go Rounds out of Kalamazoo.
Oh yeah, they've been on.
Yes,
they've been on the Go Rounds. That's Savina.
So Chris and the Go Rounds will be playing for us soon. Oh, great! And we very much love his stuff. And this song is just. It raises the hair on your arms. It's so beautiful. So that's we want to share
Calvary.
This.
Yes.
Calvary.
Well, and just one other note. I was at music over the weekend, and
really?
I was talking. Yeah, I know. Weirdly enough, I was talking to one of the members of the Crane Wives about our shows that are coming up, and mentioned Chris Bathgate, and he said that he just saw him, and I don't know who else was playing with him, but at Folk Alliance.
I think it was Wild Hack, who's actually signed up for Walk the Beat.
Oh, nice. And he said that he was the last set of music at the Folk Alliance, and that all the musicians were crying after he was done. So I'm super excited to see him play.
When I contacted him, it's one you contact artists and you just say, okay, what are your plans? What are you doing for this time frame where we're trying to set up shows?
Right.
And when you get a response from someone that you just absolutely love, and that's when Marianne and I do the virtual high five, because we're like, we're gonna have an amazing show. And when you land a guy like this, a band like this, it changes your life. So.
Well, when we come back, I'm going to be asking you about how have you guys gone about contacting these people, and I'll be talking to you about that in a minute, so stay on the dial, folks. But right now, let's listen to Chris Bathgate performing Calvary.
On the day my Calvary comes, in the tailwind we've become, alive. On the day I spoke my mind against the terror of all time, in an ear so porcelain, on the evening we collide. Ain't it good to be alive? With the wound still in your side. It's a coming it's what I saw. Ain't it good to be alive? With the wound still in your side. It's a coming it's what I saw.
Welcome back to WAWL 103.5. This is Walk the Beat. We are in the studio with Jack Clark and Marianne Fisher talking about how they have produced the Red House concert series and how they're continuing to do that. That last song, Chris Bathgate, Calvary. Very nice. Very nice.
Ain't it good to be alive?
It is.
Amen.
It is. You guys bring, the one thing, there's a lot of energy right in our studio here.
Yeah.
But man, when people come in like you, my hair's on end. Check it out.
There you go. Well, that's Chris Bathgate. Yeah, that's nothing to do with us, right?
But without, it takes so many pieces, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Without you guys saying, hey, we will help present your music to the community, nobody gets to hear it. It's very hard to find these guys. And you can get it on, I'm sure that you can get this all on Reverb Nation, all this stuff, his Facebook, all that. Mm-hmm. But it's not like live performance.
Not like live.
And this isn't like, I just want to make sure that people understand, this isn't live performance like you go to a bar and you talk to your friends.
Correct.
You get to actually sit down and experience what this person is trying to relate to you through music.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a connection through the heart.
Right.
So,
yes, and in a show like Chris Bathgate in particular, he doesn't even play that often. Mm-hmm. So having that experience where he's come out with an EP, and the last release that he had just done was 4 years ago or something like that. So
Right.
Getting a live performance out of some of these bands is really special when you're able to do that. And we do it in a way that is it's an intimate show.
Correct.
Where the focus is on the stage, is on the performance, the musicians, the songs, the lyrics, everything, the whole thing. So,
but still in a casual way.
In a casual
real
way, yes.
life, like, hey,
Sure.
how you doing today? You're
Yes.
in love with the people that are around you, and you're about to fall in love with this performer. It's wonderful. So my question was going to be, Marianne, how did you first contact these kind of people? Because I tried to contact these people too. It's tough. It's tough. So you have to have something special going on, or how do you go about contacting someone that is an extremely, let's say, gifted talent that's probably on tour or something?
Well, and we've been, I mean, this is fairly new in navigating some people like Chris Bathgate, but I have had people at my house that I had to sign contracts and go through agents. And I get asked a lot how we get people to play at our home. And my answer is I just ask.
Just keep asking.
Well, Willie Porter is a good example.
I love Willie Porter.
Willie's played it in my living room for 20 people 2 times.
I seen him in New York City.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. Yeah. But for him, I had been listening to his music. I looked at his tour schedule, and he was playing in Ann Arbor, and he was playing in Chicago, and we were in the middle. Gotcha. And so I just sent a message to his booking agent and said, you know, we've been doing, I think part of it is we get to a certain point, we've been doing this long enough that even the agents would trust that, okay, we're bringing people in, we're going to say, we're going to give the money that we say we're going to give, even we're not a venue, you know,
per se.
But when they recognize, I mean, it's not a ton of money compared to what he's probably getting at other places, but it's paying for gas. He's got to go through there anyways. He's making his way back to Wisconsin.
Right.
So the first time it was a different kind of show because all the other musicians I knew, like I had met in person and knew them.
So this was your first real, I'm going to meet him for the first time for real.
Right. And then he had brought Carmen Nickerson with him, which he performs with a lot. And they were doing a quote unquote sound check in my living room, which is like a postage stamp size. They're like standing in the back of my living room, you know. But it was great. And then his management contacted me again about a show a second time.
Wow.
And we said absolutely.
Because they can pick up those few bucks that will help them. I mean, all this helps, I know. Because you don't want to have 5 days off for Friday and wait for Friday and Saturday to come. You need to fill those other spots, and otherwise they're sitting in a hotel room somewhere. They can't go home. Costs too much. So you're actually kind of helping them along, and it helps if it's in their route, correct?
Right. Well, and the more people like that you have, then when you're reaching out to other folks and you're like, here's some people that have played here. I mean, the longer that list is, you know, if it's like, if I'm able to say we've had 35 concerts, it's not like I'm just, you know, somebody that's like, hey, you know what? I'm a big fan of Willie and he should come and play for me, which I was, but I have more behind it. I have more behind that.
You need that. But it takes diligence, work, ethic. You need to be respectful. You need to be able to look through their eyes about what's going on, not just, hey, guess what? I got Willie Porter to come play for me. No, Willie, we're trying to help you with your career, more of a type of situation, professional manner. If you have to sign a contract and send them a couple of bucks, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to do some guaranteeing that might hurt.
I've always done guaranteeing from the first day of it. So, but yeah, and Willie loved it. I mean, my back row was probably his first row in all of his other shows. So it was very, was, I mean, he had people right in his face, basically playing, but, and actually the guy that was sitting right in front of him, because he absolutely shreds the guitar, was sitting there with his mouth wide open, like right in front of him, like, so. Yeah, it was great.
Okay, we better get on to this next one. Now, and then I'm going to ask you something about their accommodations when we get back. But right now, we want to listen to. Oh, and this took place on Memorial Day this year, or is that the name of the song?
The name of the song is Memorial Day, and we can talk about accommodations because the band that plays Memorial Day often uses the Clark Hostel as an accommodation, which is, you know,
and that's what I was going to talk.
We can certainly talk about that after this great song.
That's what we'll be talking about when we get back. Now, the Accidentals, that's who I got. Somebody couldn't make it to one of your backyard shows because at that time, now you've already progressed. In the summer, you went outside, so you could get like 40 people. I had no idea that's where you were doing them. Our friend Ricky Van Wielden says, "Hey Dave, you need a seat.
You got to check these guys out."
And my wife, you know, we actually don't go to some of these places because there's alcohol. We just don't drink. We just don't hang out in bars and stuff. So
we have water too.
Yes, but when we, but you guys, it's a different setup. It's not everybody just partying. There's some music going on. We're there for music. I have never been to a concert that Rick Van Wielen has told us to go to that my wife and I didn't just have our jaws dropped. Same thing happened when he told us about you guys. He goes, there's 2 seats available because these other people can't make it. Would you like to come? Absolutely. We loved it. The Accidentals are so cute and so good. They're not just cute and fun to watch. They are real, true musicians.
Oh, yeah.
Trained, educated. They're very smart. They've done all kinds of... They were on the show the other week, thanks to you two. And we want to listen to their song, Memorial Day Blue.
Recorded here.
Yeah, it was recorded at the Third
Coast Recording Company.
Yeah, that's right. We actually made a music video out of it.
We absolutely did.
And if you ever want to visit our website, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to ask you guys about our website here in a minute, too. Right now, Blue, let's listen to the Accidentals perform a beautiful song called Memorial Day.
Of May to cut our long hair and learn how to walk away. Now it's gone, and now you'll never stay. Something to say. And when we woke up, it was Labor Day, and now it's gone. And now it's gone. And now it's gone. Now it's
Welcome back to WAWL 103.5. This is Walk the Beat. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're talking with Jack Clark and Mary Ann Fisher. They are the proprietors, I guess the proprietors is a good word, of the Red House Concert Series. And we just got done listening to one of my favorite groups, a group that you have helped along with their career, the Accidentals.
They didn't need much help with their career.
I know it, but you know, that's still one thing about you guys. Not only are you putting these concerts on, your heart is into helping these people, these musicians, these artists. And I want you to know Walk the Beat is right here with you. And this is something I want people to know. Walk the Beat is teamed up with you guys to make sure you don't have to worry about not being able to pay a performer, because we want to spread this music all over our area, and you guys are helping do it. We want to help you help them.
Yes.
And I'm also trying to put this information out there, so if someone else wants to put a concert series on, Walk the Beat likes to help people like you.
We have the same vision, the same passions, which is keeping music alive in West Michigan. So we're very happy to be a part of the Walk the Beat movement.
I just love it. I just love it. So, okay, what were we talking about before?
We were talking about accommodations, the Accidentals.
Yeah. A lot of these groups, you know, if you bring 4 people or even 2, they might not want to be in the same room, or if they are, they don't mind, but they have to stay somewhere. If you grab a Holiday Inn, which I love, but you know, if you were to stay there, that comes out of their gas money.
Right.
Because they're mostly concerned with gas money.
Right.
So you guys have been able to help them with that every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely. The Accidentals, when they play a Red House show, or if they're passing through town, I offer up my house. My wife and I offer up our house as accommodations. And we love having them because it helps us build relationships. It helps us talk about music, you know, like we're doing now. We, you know, talking with the Accidentals about music is a beautiful thing. I can talk about Radiohead all day long if you, you know, if you want me to, and they will too. They do not stop. They are 100% all the time. They're the most talented musicians, but putting them up on couches and floors and little beds and futons and everything else that's what our home is.
And that's what it takes for these people. It's not free. They have to get from location to location. So what big hearts you guys have. And I want to say that our other friend, I'll keep talking up Rick Van Wheeler because he has got the same passion that you guys have. I have met musicians through the same deal. He has let these people stay at his house when they were playing on porches, even like Avid Brothers.
Right.
They were playing on porches. Now they are performing in front of 30, 40,000 people at a crack. They need help getting going, folks, and that's what we're trying to do.
Every Avid Brothers band has been a local musician trying to get by, trying to pay for recording, trying to pay for touring. The record industry is totally different nowadays, where, you know, back 20, 30 years ago, an artist could make a lot of money selling CDs, selling records, tapes, whatever. Nowadays, with Spotify, with, you know, all the digital music that's out there, their income from that is a lot less. Diminished. So they make money by touring, by you know, going to places and playing live, and hopefully selling merchandise, but also getting paid by venues to play. So that's what we're trying to help out and help them minimize the costs and maximize their income to keep them performing, to keep them writing. That's what we want.
You know a thing that, and I know you guys don't require people to do this, but when I started up this thing called Just For Us Concert Club, which was 4 concerts. You paid all up front, and then I hired these 4 musicians from all over the country. It's basically the same kind of thing, but we did at the community center. The only requirement we had was, if you're a couple, you must buy 1 CD. And that really, that would bring them an extra $500 to $750. They would sit there and they would sign every one of our CDs for the person and made it even more personable. But that's something that really, they call.
Yeah.
They would call back and say, hey, I'm not doing that anymore. I've moved on, but we want to help you do all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
Sure.
that's a real bonus. So I loved it when we did that. Now, do you guys have a website?
Now it's Facebook.
Okay, so they
and
can reach you at Facebook.
We have a website that's not up yet, but
Okay,
it's out
that's good.
there. It's not out there.
It's being worked
ours.
on.
It's ours.
Ours. We own it, and we're working on it. So.
But right now it'd be Facebook, just at Red House Concert Series.
Red House Concert Series. I love it. I
Look
love
for the logo. What's the logo look like, by the way?
Well, something
Do we know?
similar to this tattoo.
Let's see. Do you really have one? Oh, she's got it going
I got
on.
it. I actually got it right before the Walk the Beat event last week.
That's a real tattoo?
Yes, it's still healing. Look at it. It's peely.
Wow.
Her post on the Facebook
You
was
are
Red House for Life,
That's
and
right.
it is.
That's correct.
Hardcore.
I know.
I love it.
It just gives me a reason to talk about it more. Like I
Right.
needed
You
it.
bet. You bet. And it's a great logo.
Thank
It is
you.
a
Great logo. I'm
You
going to
know-
go back with a big circle on my back that says "Walk the Beat" and see
You
what the
should.
wife says.
Yeah. I was gonna say you don't want to see my tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm really serious about it.
I know you are, and so are we. That's why we're teaming up with you. And I want you to know that we are teaming up with professionals that take care of business. Everybody that's connected with us is a professional, and it makes a big difference. I'm so glad that you guys are part of us, and we're going to be part of you.
Oh, sure.
And so, with that being said, let's get on to this next. This is great. This is great. This next artist.
These are all Red House performers. You know, like you said earlier, these are performers that have performed before and may perform again down the road. So,
Josh Davis.
Yeah.
So Josh Davis is one of a few that I know of Jack's man crushes.
Woo!
And
Chris Bathgate is another one. I got some man crushes. So, yeah, right.
Joshua Davis was the first show that Jack came to in my backyard because of his man crush. He was even more interested in that show.
He's been stalking him ever since.
So
I love
Josh
him.
came
He's
and
great.
played a backyard show with a phenomenal musician named Natalia Zuckerman, who's out of Brooklyn, New York. She's fantastic. So the two of them played together for a backyard show in 2013. I had the good fortune of reaching out to Josh last year to come and do a house concert again for me. And he said, yeah, that date works. And a week later, he announced that he was going to be on The Voice. And so I followed up with him, and I'm like, is this still happening? Because it was like
Yeah.
a 20-person living room show. And he's like,
And
I don't have to go back until the end of the month. So this was like blind auditions and stuff were happening at the
Yeah,
time that he
right.
was there. And then, so I basically launched his career. So
Right here on a
he
Grand
blew
Street.
up. He blew up after he played at my house. So
yeah, in a good way.
Yes,
In a
we
good
love
way.
Josh.
Wow, isn't that
He's
amazing?
fantastic. I would love to work with him again.
Okay, man.
Good human being.
Let's listen to Josh Davis, The Working Man's Hymn.
Some people hungry for a greenback bill. Some folks hunger for the top of the hill. Some people just trying to get a decent meal. But I know that we can turn it around. Some people sleeping in a fine feather bed. Some folks are dreaming of the old homestead. Some just need a place to lay their head. But I know that we can turn it around. From the Ninth Ward up to Petticoat Lane, one man's joy has been another man's pain. But the sun keeps us shining through the driving rain. Yeah, I know that we can turn it around. I know that we can turn it around. There's one thing that I found. There's a voice in the dim singing a working man's hymn. I know that we can turn it around.
You are listening to WAWL 103.5. This is Walk the Beat. And you are back at the studio with us and Jack Clark, Marianne Fisher from the Red House Concert Series. That last song was the Working Man's Hymn from Josh Davis, which was fantastic.
We love him.
Thank you so much.
A great ode to the working man.
You bet.
That's kind of what we are.
You bet, you bet. I'm all about the
And
working
woman.
guys. Yeah, working men and women. My mom and dad both worked at the tannery right here in the corner,
Oh,
right,
nice.
kitty corner. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for continuing to support music in the area from all over the country. You're bringing these people in, especially our West Michigan area. So thank you very much. And we
pleasure.
will catch you soon. We'll check you out on Facebook.
Please
Red
do.
House Concert Series has a Facebook page. We'll see you there. I'd also like to thank the City Farmer for underwriting this program. They're located at 1437 Washington, right next to Third Coast Recording Company. And a big thank you to Kevin Took and everybody else on his team. I'd also want to make sure that I thank Bill Kreiser for letting us use the studio. I would like to thank Dave Darling for all the video work that he does. I'd like to always love thanking and hanging out with Blue Van Dyke, our sound engineer. And thanks to my really good friend, Eliza Russ, for producing this thing and keeping everything on track. Now, remember everybody, listen local.
The Walk the Beat radio show is recorded in Grand Haven, Michigan. Production and engineering provided by Blue Van Dyke. Featuring your host, Dave Palmer.